Hi, this is Simon with Trade and Perform Coaching, going over the trade for Thursday, January 2nd, 2014. Happy New Year. It was a great New Year for trading. And we had a very interesting day. First of all, this is for educational purposes only. Nothing in the video, the Twitter stream, or on StockTwits, or on the blog should be considered a trading recommendation. Trading futures is very risky. You should consult a trading professional or an investment professional to make sure you're actually qualified to do so. I am not a registered investment advisor. So looking at this quickly, right? So we opened the day below the white zone. What does the white zone indicate? The white zone indicates who's in control. Generally speaking, buyers are in control above, sellers below. The white zone works like kryptonite, right? The closer you are to it, the more influence it has. The further away we get from it, the less influence it has, hence giving us an ability to have nice bounces, right? So as we approach, I'm looking for a rejection, particularly the first and second time. As it extends away, I am looking for a contra trade to push back towards it whenever possible. So we started the day below the white zone. I gave a couple of primers for what had to happen in the pre-market meeting, right? So looking at the pre-market meeting, I said, first of all, we had to get above prior day's low. We attempted that, but it just did not hold, okay? And we can see we got immediate rejection within the first 5 minutes. Second thing I pointed out in the meeting was the first 3 bars that we were looking for. If we got big, nasty red bars, 3 or 4 in a row, right, that would be indicative of open drive lower, particularly with each one being lower than the previous, and would indicate trend day down. Okay. The next thing I said in there, putting these all together, right, is that I would want a nice rotation, and that I was actually looking to short the first move up into the white zone. Was unable to get that move into the white zone, so I had no trade there, and I did not take the trade in here because there's no rotation here to take advantage. Again, my job is to ambush other traders making mistakes. I can tend to catch them easiest when they're making mistakes and the market is stretched. I had the highest opportunity, right? So if you look, the stretch from here all the way down into this zone, perfect trade entry, at least in my book, right? 1832 to 1831, it was a small zone, right? Very nice trade entry. And I also highlighted prior that this entire area from here, this whole thing, right? I put a trade note. I'd expect responsive buying first time into this area. So as to not clutter the screen up, let's clear this out and keep the pace going. I'm trying to make these videos shorter so people can get more out of them without overloading, and that's the feedback I've gotten. If you want to give me different feedback, I'm welcome it via email, and if you want me to go into more details, that's what I do in the coaching sessions. But this covers the general meat of it, right? First time into the zone, 2 to 4 points right here, okay? Second time into the zone, this is why I concentrate on the first time. This got failure. This would have generated a 2-point loss for you. And the killer about that is the 2-point loss puts you right into the top of the previous zone, which again, very nice rotation back down, very nice rotation from the highs, right? And gave a beautiful rotation up for eventually, if you look out at the 29 zone, right, you definitely got your 2 points, and you had the potential for almost a 5-point trade here. I did not call this trade out. However, it was acceptable as far as my trading rules and methodology go. Furthermore, looking at this rotation up, right? This is a very nice rotation up. This was really the first touch here. I didn't have enough of a rotation to take a trade here. There was a trade. The first touch is zero tick on a trend day down. Is generally shortable. Okay. In this particular case, I did not take that trade. Trend day down is much less likely than trend day up, and I tend to be a little more conservative on taking the short side, particularly the context overall, right? We're in a bull market. No damage has been done. This is a slight pullback. We're back to Monday, I think, in terms of correction. Nothing's really happened, right? So if you continue with this theory, right, I also said this 11 a.m. hour to 1 p.m. hour, this whole thing, very difficult trading. I really hate trading this period of time. It can get very choppy and requires a lot of patience. Trading has two components to it, right? First, you have to have the actual methodology and the actual edge that's going to make you money. And within that edge, you have to have a method for extracting money from that edge and paying yourself. Secondly, there's a psychological component. The trades that you make have to match your personality, right? Have to match your risk tolerance. And there's one more component, right? And that's your stops have to match two things. First of all, your ability to take risk. Second of all, there's a price for every trade. Okay, every single trade has a price. Usually 2 points behind the zones is what the price is for the trades on ES, right? After a nice stretch. If you can't adjust that stop. If you bring that stop in here, let's say you entered here, right? And you said, I'm going to do it with a 2-point stop. All you gave yourself was a 2-point loss and you watched it go profitable. That really, really sucks. Okay, you have to give yourself the ability to withstand a trading loss. And when volatility increases, as it did here, sometimes you need a little bit bigger stop, right? That means you might have to adjust trade size, do all kinds of things. But know your trade in detail, keep detailed records. That's what helps build your confidence as a trader. You can have a very highly successful track record of multiple wins in a row. You just have to know how to set that trade up both mentally and in the actual process of building a trade plan. Okay, so moving on, we can clearly see here that we're in a downtrend line in addition to everything else, right? So we see here at 1 o'clock, I was very clear when we were in this zone right here that what I was waiting for is this 22 to 24 area. And I'm very patient with it. You know, we almost came in here on this 22 to 24 area, and I missed my fill by a tick. 2 times I was sitting right up here. I mentioned that the consolidation, this is consolidation right here, guys. Consolidation right above the zone was concerning, that I was moving my entry back. First I moved it to 23, then I moved it back to 22.50, okay? I did not get the tick divergence here on a 1 minute. I did have it on a 5 minute. If you'll go look on your tick bar, you'll see a clear divergence that actually took place all the way through this process. All in here that we were experiencing tick divergence on these moves in. However, we weren't at the zone, right? And I only trade at or in the zone. That's where I take my trades. My stops are always behind the zone. I was quite clear that I thought this was a great trade entry, and I actually posted my entry and my scales all the way up. 28 was my last scale. I closed at 27, my last piece, but I had scales, I believe, for 2, 3.5, 4.5, 5, and 5.5. I believe were my scales. I posted that on the Twitter stream. You can go look. Again, the key to this, what was the big overall takeaway? Okay, the takeaway was, first of all, identifying that we were in a different trading environment, right? That this was different than any other day we'd experienced prior. Secondly, identifying early the potential for an open drive down. Third of all, not fighting it and knowing exactly where my trade locations were prior to really the market opening or getting there. Just simply a matter of waiting for other traders to make their mistakes. And then the next part of this, right, is taking your trade into the heart of darkness, to steal from the book, right? I believe that was a book I read when I was a kid about Africa. But you're trading into the heart of darkness. Everyone is selling here. Everyone is panicked. This is where I want to be involved, where people are scared. This gives me the greatest odds of trade dislocation, right? And the greatest opportunity for reward. By the way, for people who caught this trade to the downside, right here, this is the first time where if you shorted the open gap in quite a while, you made a great trade. Okay, so the same guys who said, well, I caught the short here, no one is doing this consistently in the first 5 minutes, or excuse me, let me correct that. Very few do it consistently. And remember, my bar for success is the trade has to be above a 70% win rate in order for me to continue taking that trade day in, day out. Lately, we've been extremely high, well over 80%. Keep that all in mind. Make sure you have a couple of things if you're trading. First of all, make sure the edge, you'll notice there's no trailing indicators on here. Make sure your edge actually works, not just in this particular market, but in all markets. Number two, right? Make sure that once you have the edge, that your trade plan built around that edge is actually a good trade plan, right? Make sure that your plan includes a way for you to keep calm mentally, right? It should include pre-planned stops, uh, pre-planned exits, right? And very structured day in, day out. I want to do as little thinking as possible while the market is open, right? I want to ask as few questions about the market as possible. I only want the primary questions answered, which is my trade location and tick divergence is pretty much what I'm looking for. You'll almost never see me talk about anything else. I don't even mention volume most of the time. I have no trailing indicators. I don't care about any of that. I don't need any of it, right? The more indicators you throw on that screen, the more variables you throw in, the more questions you ask. Questions create uncertainty. Uncertainty creates fear. Fear creates crummy trading and creates losses. So anyway, guys, this is Simon with Trade and Perform Coaching. Great way to start off the year. I want to congratulate all my coaching clients. Every one of them had a great day yesterday, and I anticipate this being a very, very good year. We will see y'all at the about the 8 a.m. mark on Friday morning. Have a great day, guys.